Abusive parents threatening to disown me if I transition in adulthood, saying I'm driving the family apart with my identity. I'm not entirely sure where to go from here or what to do, but I'm terrified of losing my sister. Any advice is deeply appreciated. I'll be reposting this and other similar subreddits. Thank you so much in advance. I, 17FDM, am moving in with my boyfriend 19M and his family in the coming weeks for college. I spoke to my parents tonight about my moving plans, and it went horribly as expected. For context, my parents, mid-40s, conservative, have been intensely abusive, emotionally/verbally, since I first came out to them as transgender when I was 12. I've been in therapy for a little over 2 years now, and am diagnosed with PTSD alongside the usual depression/anxiety. My parents overtly deny my PTSD diagnosis and any signs of trauma because they simply don't believe I've endured anything traumatic despite them having almost kicked me out at 15 for being transgender, repeatedly isolated me from all forms of communication and internet access for years on end, and forced me to go to an OBGYN and get a birth control implant without my consent. When we spoke tonight, my dad brought up the potential of my transition, referring to it as self-mutilation and the product of brainwashing. Him and my mom made it abundantly clear that if I were to medically transition, I would be completely cut off from the family, including my sister, 9F, who I love more than anything in the world. They told me they have access to my health insurance. I'm insured under my mom until I can afford my own insurance or get on government assistance. And if they saw anything involving transgender healthcare, they would completely cut me off, shut off my phone, etc., because they consider my identity a genuine danger to the family and my sister. My dad repeatedly claimed that I was being manipulated into transitioning by my friends, and that he refuses to have any part in my self-destruction. Both him and my mom repeatedly told me we were always family and they will always love me and be supportive of me. My parents told me that if I transition, I'm making the decision to cut all communication and ties with them because I am disrespecting them. Normally I keep quiet, but today I objected and I told them that's literally their decision, and they immediately got aggressive and both jumped to tell me that it would actually be my choice that would cause that. My choice to be cut off from my own flesh and blood because I chose to be who I am. My dad even told me I would have been a good, respectful person if I was just gay. My plan is to hold off on a legal/medical transition until at the very least I'm able to pay for my own things. I currently work part-time for $12 per hour, but I'm applying to places nearby that pay $15 to $16 and offer healthcare. I want to try delaying my medical transition for as long as I possibly can so I can maintain contact with my sister until she's old enough to understand the situation or ways to get around possible restrictions in the future. I'm not sure how long I'll be able to do that considering I'm absolutely miserable being pre-trans, and the main thing keeping me alive for so many years has been the possibility of HR once turning 18. My parents know I can't afford health insurance, that I would barely be able to afford my phone bill considering I'm a college student working a shitty part-time job, and they're dangling it all over my head, threatening to take all of that away and more in an instant just because I want to be who I am. I didn't even ask them to do these things for me. All I told them were my plans to move out and my intentions to pay for those things on my own, even though I'm aware how difficult that'll be. TLDR. Abusive parents maintaining control over me after I leave for college, threatening to cut me out of the family entirely if I continue with my transition, including my kid sister who has no fault or involvement, and making it out to be my fault for wanting to be independent in the first place.